Hi, welcome to today's Vinyasa flow. For today's practice, you are going to want 2 blocks or thick, sturdy books. Shoebox work just fine. And we're going to get started in an easy seat. So take whichever leg you prefer in front. Hands can rest on your knees or thighs. Give yourself a moment here to settle in. Long spine, so a slight squeeze in the shoulder blades, maybe even lifting your chin just a bit. On an inhale, reach both your arms up, finding that extension. Exhale, right hand outside of right hip, side stretch towards the right. Here for a few rounds of breath, keeping that left hip anchored down, left shoulder gently pulling back. So not rounding forward here, but keeping that nice long line. On an inhale, come back to center. Exhale to the other side. Left hand plants, right arm reaches, right hip stays anchored down, creating some space between the ribs on the right side of the body. Then inhale, come back to center. Hands can come back to your lap. Switch out the leg you have in front. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, walk your hands forward for an easy seat forward fold. Now this can be a pretty intense forward fold in some bodies, particularly at the start of practice. You can always unwind your legs if that feels a little bit better, particularly in your hip area. We're here for just one more moment. On your next breath, walk your hands back in, lift your head out of the shape, rolling over your ankles or however is comfortable for you. Make your way to a tabletop, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale for cow, belly drops, gaze lifts. Exhale, cat, round your spine, tuck your chin. Inhale, cow, belly drops, look up. Exhale, cat, to round your spine. Few more rounds here at your pace of breath. You might bring awareness to that space between your shoulder blades, particularly on cat, as you really press away from the floor, noticing if you can imagine some extra space between the shoulder blades, and then come back to neutral. Taking care that your blocks are towards the top of your mat within reaching distance. Inhale, extend right leg long behind you, toes on the mat. Then press your right heel away from you. Stretching out that calf here. Maybe you rock back and forth just a bit. Then keeping your right foot planted, turn your left toes off the mat. Left hand plants towards the center of the mat and right arm lifts, coming into a modified side plank. Hips press up towards the sky and press into the blade edge of your right foot, using that as part of your base. On an inhale, we're gonna lift into gate. Right fingertips reach back, left arm overhead. Breathe in, breathe out. Return to modified side plank. We'll do that once more. Inhale, find your gate pose, feeling that extension. Exhale, back to modified side plank. Right hand comes back to the mat, return to tabletop. Then extending that right leg off the mat, bring your right foot between your hands for low lunge. This is where you're gonna slide the blocks here, either side of the foot, then arms reach up towards the sky. Inhale here. Exhale, hands back down to the blocks. Back toes can tuck or untuck. Sink back for half splits. So hips reach towards the heels. Right toes point towards the sky. We're gonna take a little pulse here. On an inhale, I want you to lengthen your spine like you're pulling your heart towards your toes. Exhale, round forward, maybe even folding forward. Inhale, pressing into those blocks, find almost a half lift. Exhale, fold and round forward. 2 more at your pace of breath. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, heart pulls towards the thigh. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come back to a neutral. Then left hand plants, right arm opens to the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out, right hand back to the block. Plant your front foot, return to low lunge, maybe pressing your hips forward just a bit more. Then hands come to the mat. Return to your tabletop position. Preparing for the other side. Left leg extends long, toes on the mat first. Press your left heel away from you, stretching out that calf. Maybe you rock back and forth. Maybe you just hold. Then right toes turn off the mat. That knee is perpendicular. Right hand plants to the center of the mat and left arm lifts. Press into the blade edge of your left foot. Inhale, lift for gate. Long line from the fingertips to the knee. Exhale, come back to side plank, hips towards the sky. Inhale to lift, using your core for gate. Exhale, back to side plank. Left arm lifts, then turn back to your tabletop, keeping that left leg extended long. Lift it off the mat. Left foot comes between your hands for low lunge. Blocks frame the foot. Arms lift here first. Then hands come to the blocks. Tuck your back toes. Sink your hips back. Half splits or Ardha Hanumanasana. Taking a moment here. Using the blocks at whatever setting feels supportive. Inhale to find length. Exhale to fold. 3 more of these pulses at your pace of breath. Now again, noticing if you need the blocks a little higher here to help you find that long spine, adjusting as you need to. We'll settle back in neutral when you're ready. Right hand stays planted, left arm opens to the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out, left hand back to the block. Front foot plants, shift your weight forward. Maybe hips press forward just a bit. Hands to the mat. Return to tabletop. You can shift those blocks or whatever you were using out of the way. Walk your hands forward about a handprint. Tuck your toes and lift your hips for downward facing dog. Down dog, we're focusing on a long spine here. So bringing as much bend to your knees as you need to find that length as your hips lift towards the sky. Inhale, generous bend to the knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale to a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, release. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, root through your feet, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up, maybe look up. Exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips. Inhale, half lift, hands on shins or thighs. Exhale to fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, root through your feet, then reach nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Adding on, inhale, arms reach up, look up if it feels okay in the neck. Exhale, fold, head hangs heavy. Inhale, a half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop back to plank. Inhale and plank. Exhale, lower all the way to the mat. Elbows graze the ribs, untuck toes. Inhale, lift your heart for cobra. Just as high as feels good. Exhale, back to the mat. Inhale, press up to your plank, toes or knees. Exhale for downward facing dog if you'd like to keep stretching out those hamstrings and calves. Or you can go to tabletop, taking some more cat-cows if that felt good in your spine. Or a child's pose. Few rounds of breath, finding what works for you. If you're unsure, try something out. You can always change your mind. Wait for your next inhale. Then bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale for a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, head hangs heavy. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching up nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up, maybe look up. Exhale, forward fold, everything hangs heavy. Inhale to a half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop back to plank, toes or knees. Inhale, press away from the mat. Exhale, lower for chaturanga, halfway down or all the way to the mat. Inhale for up dog or cobra, heart pulls forward. Exhale, we'll meet back in downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath. Inhale, sweep your right leg to the sky, toes stay dialed down. Exhale, right foot between your hands, back foot in and out at 45 degrees. Arms lift for warrior 1. Find your base here first, pressing into that heel and blade edge of the back foot. Inhale, take your hands behind low back. Exhale, press your knuckles to the floor. Breathe in here. Breathe out, humble warrior, folding forward, right shoulder towards that right knee. Arms might extend overhead or stay at low back, even releasing the grip if that feels too tight in your shoulders. Breathe wherever you need to be. Next breath, release your grip, hands to low back, then hands sweep to the floor. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Nose points towards your knee. Hands might be able to reach the floor, but they might also be on your shin or even on your hips. Give yourself a moment. Inhale, bend into your front knee, return to warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Inhale in plank. Exhale, chaturanga or the mat. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep left leg to the sky. Exhale, left foot between the hands. Back foot in and out at 45 degrees. Arms lift. Find your base here first, keeping that generous bend in the front knee. Hands come behind low back. Interlace your fingers, press knuckles towards the floor, maybe look up. Breathe in. Breathe out, humble warrior, left shoulder towards that left knee. Finding the arm placement that feels good in your shoulders. Next breath, release your hands to low back, then to the floor. On an inhale, straighten that front leg, nose points towards your knee, hands rest wherever it's comfortable. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, bend into your front knee, back to warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank, toes or knees. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga or the mat. Inhale for up dog or cobra. Exhale, meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, hang heavy. Inhale, chair, Utkatasana, hips are low, arms frame the face. Then come to heart center. Now this is your first spot, you can pause. This is great for building some strength in the legs. If you'd like a bit more of a challenge and it feels okay in your knees, shift your weight forward, lifting your heels off the mat. A bit more of a challenge here. Then slowly lowering to your version of toe stand. You might stay close to a chair height. Maybe hips come all the way towards the heels, maybe somewhere in between. Focusing on keeping a long spine wherever you are. Inhale, open your arms for cactus. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Keeping your heels lifted as slow as you can. Press up to a standing shape. Slower we go, the more strength we're building. Maybe arms lift, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, heels down, hands to the heart, Tadasana. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, arms reach up, maybe look up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Right hand comes outside of left ankle. Inhale, sweep left arm to the sky. Exhale, fold back to center. Left hand outside of right ankle. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale to fold. Inhale, half lift, crown of the head presses forward. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step back to plank position. Inhale in plank. Exhale for connecting vinyasa if you want it, or meet back in downward facing dog. We'll be here when you're ready. Pressing into both hands equally. Inhale, sweep right leg to the sky. Exhale, right foot between your hands, crescent lunge. Arms come up to frame the face. All of your toes point towards the top of the mat. Back heel is lifted. Feeling that integrity in the shape here first. Then taking your hands interlaced behind your head here. Inhale at the center. Exhale here, pull your belly button towards the spine. Inhale, twist. Right elbow pulls back, left forward. Exhale, back to center. Inhale to twist. Exhale, center. Inhale, twist. Exhale, center. Arms frame the face once more. Then bringing your hands to the mat just to slide those blocks on either side of your foot. Straighten your front leg. Now keep your back heel lifted. Even if you don't quite feel like you need the blocks here, keep them here for a moment. I'm going to release just so you can see what my feet are doing. On an inhale, drop your back heel, front toes lift. Exhale, front foot's flat, back heel lifts. Taking in these little pyramid rocks, using the blocks here to help you keep your spine as long as possible. It's natural for a little rounding to come here, but focusing on the crown of your head pressing forward can help keep that spine long. One more round of these pyramid rocks. Pause when your front foot is flat. Bend into your front knee. Arms come up to frame the face. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank position. Holding plank on toes or knees for 3 rounds of breath. Press away from the mat. Heels press towards the back of the mat. Crown of the head presses forward. Inhale. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. Inhale, sweep left leg to the sky. Exhale, step it between your hands, starting here with crescent first. Back heel is lifted, generous bend in that front knee. Hands come behind your neck. Breathe in, or I should say your head more so. Exhale, pull your belly button towards your spine. Inhale, twist, left elbow back, right forward. Exhale, back to center. Give yourself a few more rounds at your pace. I don't know why this pose makes me feel like a cheesy 80s aerobics workout, but it feels good. Embrace that energy. Pause next time you come to center. Arms frame the face, then hands come back to the mat. Taking those blocks on either side of your foot, straighten your front leg. Starting here with this pyramid version. On an inhale, back heel drops, front toes lift. Exhale, front foot plants, back heel lifts. Continue with this little teeter-totter action. Keeping your spine as long as is available for you. I find it most helpful for me to focus on lifting my chin just a bit so my crown of my head's pressing forward. Not looking forward, but the top of my head is pointing forward. One more round, and we'll meet next time your front foot is planted. Bend into the front knee, arms frame the face, then hands to the mat. Step back to your plank position. Toes or knees, where do you feel stronger? 3 rounds of breath. Glutes are squeezing. Core is engaged like you're trying to knit your ribs together. Press away from the mat. Inhale. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. Inhale to bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, release. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hips down and back, returning to chair. Hands come towards your heart, using your thumbs almost like a magnet to pull your heart forward. On an inhale, twist, right shoulder back, left forward. You can stay right here or hinge forward. Left elbow hooks outside of right knee. Noticing where you can keep that twist. So heart pulling towards the thumbs. Breathe in. Weight shifts to your right foot. Then either taking one step or a bunch of little ones, left foot steps behind you. Revolved crescent, heart continues to pull towards the thumbs. Left arm reaches down, right arm towards the sky. Full round of breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Hands come back to heart center. Unwind, coming to crescent with hands at the heart. Then keeping that bend in your front knee, shift forward, lifting your back foot, standing balance. Knees bent, toes are flexed. Inhale, left arm reaches back, right arm forward. So we're twisting opposite direction. Fingertips reach away from each other. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, both feet to the mat. Full round of breath here, pressing into both feet equally. Preparing for that twisty sequence on the other side. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hips down and back. Hands come to your heart. Thumbs are like a magnet pulling that heart forward. Inhale, twist to the left, right shoulder forward. Stay here or hook your right elbow outside of the knee. Only if you can keep that twist, that's our main focus. As you're ready, right foot steps behind you for crescent. Inhale, heart pulls towards the thumbs. Left shoulder pulls back just a bit more. Keep the crown of your head pressing forward. Then right arm reaches down, left arm towards the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, lift to crescent, hands at your heart. Begin to shift your weight forward, coming to stand on that left foot as right knee hugs to the chest. Toes are flexed. Inhale, right arm back, left arm forward. Full breath here, standing or rooting through that standing leg. Inhale back to center. Exhale, both feet to the mat. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, arms reach up, maybe look up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, a half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back to plank position, toes or knees. Inhale and plank. Exhale, connecting vinyasa if you want it, or meet back in downward facing dog. That's where we're gonna start our next movement. Inhale, sweep right leg to the sky. Exhale, right foot between your hands. Warrior one, back foot in and out at 45 degrees. Arms lift. Now take a moment here. Hands come to hips. Square your hips towards the top of the mat. They might want to open towards the left here, but keep them pointing to the top. You might have a pretty wide base here. My feet are almost as wide as the mat. Find what feels stable. On an inhale, straighten that front leg. Hands can stay at your hips. Exhale, hinge forward like you're in a half lift. Then taking the blocks to either side of the foot, allow your upper body to hang heavy. Traditional pyramid pose here. Nose points towards the knee. Back foot is pressing into the mat. Then left hand plants into the block, almost like you're finding a bit of a half lift. Right arm can reach towards the sky. Check in with your shoulder or bring right hand to low back. That can feel good for some bodies to help open the shoulder, but causes a little less strain. If this feels good, you can stay right here. If you'd like a slightly deeper twist for revolve triangle, take your left hand to the block on the other side of your foot. Embracing this shape for a few rounds of breath. Noticing here if the breath starts to get choppy or uneasy in some of these challenging shapes. Encouraging it to smooth out or lengthen. But don't worry, as long as you're breathing, you're doing great. Next breath, you'll unwind the same way that we came in. So I lift my right hand, plant it back to the block, left hand to the other side, pyramid pose. Inhale, bend into your front knee, arms lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank position, toes or knees. Inhale here. Exhale, connecting vinyasa if you want it, or head back to downward facing dog. That's where we'll meet when you're ready. Inhale, sweep your left leg to the sky, toes stay pointed down. Exhale, left foot between your hands. Back foot comes in and out at 45 degrees. Arms lift. Again, adjust that base as you need to. Hands can come to your hips. Square the hips towards the top of the mat. Weight is equal between your back foot and your front foot. On an inhale, straighten that front leg. Exhale, hinge forward, starting with that half lift. Then slowly fold forward. Taking your blocks here to either side of that front foot. Allow your upper body to hang heavy. Nose points towards the knee. Back foot pressing into the mat. Weight towards the blade edge of that back foot. Give yourself a moment. Then right hand plants into the block, lifting almost into a half lift. Left arm open, starting our twist here. You can stay here or bring hand to low back, opening the shoulder, a little less strain here. If this feels good, go for it. If a deeper twist sounds good, right hand can shift to that block on the other side of the foot. If you're feeling real fancy, you can release the blocks. That is typically not available in my body. But find what works for you. Allowing yourself to smooth out the breath here. Taking your time in this shape. Keeping your low body strong, part of your base. Upper body is active here, a lot happening. One more inhale. One more exhale. Unwind the way you got into the pose, arm lifts, hands back to the blocks. Bend into your front knee and return to warrior one. Hands to the mat. Step back to plank position. Inhale in plank. Exhale, last chance for connecting vinyasa if it sounds good, or meet back in downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Really press into thighs or shins, lengthening the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach up nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, hips down and back for chair. Now taking your time here, hands can stay lifted for a shoulder challenge or pull them to the heart for a little more anchoring or grounding. Lift your heels off the mat. Slowly begin to lower down. Now, listening to your body, you may need to use your hands here to support you, lowering to your toe stand, whatever that looks like for you. Knees point forward, hips towards the heels. Then again, using your hands if you need to, or challenging yourself without your hands. Knees drop to the mat. Come to standing on your knees. Might have to back up a little bit like me if you got towards the top of your mat. Back toes are tucked, hands come behind your hips like you're putting jeans or hands into jeans pockets, fingertips point down. Inhale here. Exhale, press palms into that low back or hips forward just as far as feels good. Maybe you start to look up just a bit. Inhale, come back to center. We'll do that once more, taking the shape that works for you. Hands at the hips. Slowly begin to press your hips forward. Intentionally lowering back so we're not just falling back. One breath. Inhale to lift. Lower to your seat. You can untuck the toes. Take your knees a little bit wider. Child's pose. Arms reaching forward, or create a little pillow under your forehead here. Give yourself a few rounds of breath. Use your next inhale. Gently press your upper body out of the shape, eventually stacking heart over hips, head over heart. Heels sweep out from under your seat and extend your legs long in front of you. Preparing here for Janu Shasana. Right leg stays extended. Left sole of the foot pulls into the thigh. Inhale here to lengthen. Exhale, hinge forward. Teton is a big fan of when I get to floor work, so he might be here for a bit. Your heart is pulling towards that right thigh. Not concerning ourselves too much with how far forward we can reach. Hands can be on toes, ankles, calf, it doesn't matter. But focusing on that heart pulling towards the thigh. Now notice here. You can stay right here if this feels good. If you'd like to try a bit of a twist, in some bodies you can take both hands to the outer edge of that foot, keeping your left hip anchored down. Or if your foot feels far away, both hands just come to the outside of that right leg, anywhere on the floor. That can create a little space behind the left hip in the low back area. But if it doesn't feel good, return to straight on Janu Shasana. Just a few more rounds of breath here. Next, inhale, lift out of the shape. Keeping that bend in the knee. Left sole of the foot comes to the outside of the right leg. Right arm reaches around the knee. Left hand props up behind you. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, left shoulder pulls back. Give yourself a few rounds of breath here. Keeping your spine long. Letting that twist come from your left shoulder, that upper back area. Next, inhale, unwind. Then extend both legs long. Maybe pedaling out the legs here. Right sole of the foot bends. Putting your right sole of the foot into that left thigh. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold over your left extended leg. Taking the shape on this side. Starting here in that straight on Janu Shasana, heart pulls towards the thigh. Might even notice your nose pointing towards the knee. Adding in that twist if it feels good. If you're unsure, try it out. Hands can come to the blade edge of that extended leg or resting on the floor on the outside of that extended leg. Keeping your right hip anchored down in either shape, but particularly if you choose to incorporate that twist. Give yourself a few moments here. Next, inhale, lift your upper body. Right knee stays bent, right foot plants outside of left leg, left arm wraps around the knee, right hand props up behind you. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. Few rounds of breath here, using that left arm to hug the knee in towards your body. One more inhale. One more exhale. And unwind, come back to center. Both legs extend long, preferably together if you don't have a dog in your way. And then slowly and intentionally start to roll down. I like to reach my fingertips forward to help me take my time here. Eventually, low back comes to the mat. Shoulder blades to the mat, and then head rests. Bending your knees, soles of the feet press into the mat. Then allow your knees to fall side to side. Some gentle windshield wipers here, just for a last little bit of less intense twisting. Our body did a lot of active twists. Pausing next time your knees point up towards the sky. Inhale to hug your knees into your chest, maybe forehead up to the knees, tight little yogi hug. Exhale, extend into Shavasana. Legs extend long. Arms hang heavy. Allow your body to be soft and take up space here. Eyes soften or close. Your only job is to breathe, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Body can remain still. If it feels good and is available to you today, you are more than welcome to stay in this place of rest. If it's time to close out your practice, can start by deepening inhales and exhales. Add in any gentle movement that feels good to wake up your body, like rocking your head side to side or wiggling fingers and toes. And taking your time, make your way to a fetal position on either side. Pausing there just for a moment of stillness, slowing down your movements just a bit before you press up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes can stay soft or closed here. feeling into these last few moments of practice for some gratitude. You showed up today, honored your body with movement and with rest, and allowing that importance to sink in. We'll close with a collective breath. Can exhale to prepare. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, draw your hands to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Thanks for being part of this rad community, and I hope you have a stellar rest of your day.